Today on the program, my top 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, my top 14 tips for creating great book covers. Let's go. Hey guys and gals, boys and girls, authors and author wannabes. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Your old buddy Tim, back with pages full of notes, once again talking about creating great covers for your books. And before we get started, hey, don't forget what I do on this program is basically this. I answer questions, typically questions that you could find the answers to quickly and easily if you weren't so damn lazy. But that's okay. I've got nothing better to do, so I might as well do this. So if you do have a question about anything really to do with writing, editing, authoring, agenting, any ing word pertaining to the topic at hand, drop it in the comments below. And if I do answer your questions or comments, you will receive a digital copy of one of my books, either Angel of Mercy or Sins of the Father. And don't forget to subscribe and like, because God forbid you miss this program, because as I always say, it is an entertainment value. So today's question, quite lengthy. It comes from my friend Randall. Randall asked, Tim, how important is cover art to selling books? Great question, Randall, and one we've addressed on this program a few times, but I continue getting the questions, so I continue to answer. In this case, though, we are going to talk about how to make sure your cover does a great job. We already know the cover is important. If you don't know that, you're a freaking idiot. You don't need to be watching this program. You need to go watch some cute cat videos, because we all know as authors that the cover is the first thing that readers see of our book. And unless we are a James Patterson or a Stephen King, we need all the help we can get when it comes to getting readers to notice us. So, of course, your cover and your cover art is extremely important, because that is what people see. And believe it or not, your book is judged by its cover. There have been massive surveys done, Randall, that show that if the cover does not entice or pique the potential reader's interest, they will not even pick up the book. They will not click to look inside. They might be missing the best book they've ever read, but that's okay, because they didn't like the cover. So first thing, as always, the cover must catch the eye, Randall. It must be appealing. It must be something that makes the reader want to read more. Now, how do you do that is, of course, you start with research. We've talked about this before. We're talking about it again. Research. Go look at your genre. Take a look at the covers of the top 20, 30, whatever, paid books, and you're going to see probably a pattern forming, Randall, because let's take space and sci-fi as an example, because that's an incredibly hot genre right now. If you go look at like the books of a Nick Adams or a Chris Fox or a Jeff J.N. Chaney, their books are all very similar on the cover, because typically there's a very nice illustration of a spaceship. There might be an explosion. There's going to be a hero or a heroine in a spacesuit. There's going to be a gun. Basically, it's a theme. It's a blueprint. It is the style of book that readers in this genre expect to see. Now, you might think, okay, I'm going to do something different so I stand out. Well, that's a really great idea, but it usually doesn't work, because readers know what they like, they know what they expect, and in this particular genre, they expect a spaceship. They expect an explosion. They expect an astronaut with a gun. So what you want to do is look at what's working, and then you want to pattern your book cover after that. You don't want to copy. Although there are only so many ways to paint a freaking spaceship, but you want your covers to follow the pack, but still be unique. And the way that you do that is you find someone who's really good at doing the cover art, and you get them to do your cover. And we'll talk about that in just a minute, because so many authors are broke or they don't have the money, and they don't want to spend a couple of $1,000s on a cover. Well, the good news is you don't have to, but you're going to have to spend a little bit unless you yourself are a cover designer because, yeah, but let's get back to what we were talking about. The cover must catch the eye. It must be thematic. It must fit in well with the genre. The reader must be able to look at your book cover and immediately go, ah, that's a space opera, or ah, that's horror, or ah, Bach, which is an old joke that you probably won't get. So it needs to clearly represent the genre. Again, go look at what the big guys are doing. Don't copy them exactly, but just kind of follow their lead because trust me, if these covers weren't selling, they wouldn't be on those books. You want to avoid, catchphrases and cliches, especially if you're doing nonfiction. Nonfiction book titles are as hard to come up with as fiction. Sometimes in nonfiction, the shock value works. For example, my friend Larry Winget, some of his book titles, you suck and it's your own damn fault. I love that book title. Shut up, stop whining, and get a life. But the thing about it is, those book titles are very representative of Larry's message and the content in the book. I mean, that is his brand, so he can do things like that. So, shock value is great, but don't get hokey. Don't get cliched. Don't try to come up with something that you think is just super duper clever and the reader won't have a frickin' idea what you're talking about. So that's the other thing to keep in mind is your audience for these books. Pardon me as I clean the boogers from my eyes. Think like a reader. If you are a reader of your genre, which you should be, by the way, if you're going to write space opera, you should read space opera. Think like the reader. What attracts your eye? What gets you to click? And we've also done another video that you can look up here on the channel on book titles, which goes along with the visual itself. So other things, don't forget, the whole purpose of the cover is to evoke emotion. It is to get the reader to go, holy crap, what is that? I got to read more. I got to look inside. Also, if you're doing hard copies, paperbacks, don't forget the back and the spine. I can't tell you how many books that are sent to me by authors, self-published authors who went through CreateSpace or something and did their own book, and the back is actually completely blank. What the hell's wrong with you people? What happened is they took the artwork that they used for the ebook and they converted it to work for CreateSpace without thinking about the spine and the back. If you're going to do a hardcover book that has a cover, don't forget it also has a spine and it has a back. What's wrong with you people? You're killing me. That's what you're doing. So always make sure, because especially if someone's in a bookstore, you know this, you pick up, you're walking through Barnes and Noble and, oh my goodness, look, there's a mean looking gentleman and the title is Sins of the Father. You pick that up, you look at the front, you look at the back, and you read the description. There's a nice picture of me in my younger days when I had dark hair and, quite the dashing figure. But just remember, how does a potential reader decide whether or not they want to buy your book? They look at the cover. So it's very important that the cover evoke emotion, get them to pick it up, or if they're online, get them to click and read more. Also, a couple of other things. Make sure that your title is easy to read. Your visual is important, but if your title gets lost in the mix, that's not good. You might want to test different fonts. Stay away from hokey fonts like Comic Sans and Papyrus. Those are not good fonts. And also, unless you are a James Patterson or a John Grisham, the title should be bigger than your name. You've made it when you can just put your name on the front of a book and people will buy it. I'm not there yet, and if you're watching this program, chances are neither are you. So there you go, Randall. Hopefully that was helpful again. Think like your reader. check out the genre, look at what's selling. You want to pattern your cover after the ones that are selling, but you don't want to copy outright. Don't infringe. Do something creative. But I think that by and large, the thing to remember is give the reader what they expect. Give them the cover that's going to catch their eye. And the whole point of the cover is to make them want to read more. Let's talk really quickly. I was going to kill it there, but I want to go back to getting a cover done. I think this is very important, and I'll just do it here. You know, you can do your own cover, but let me tell you, Randall, unless you are a cover designer and you know what you're doing your own book cover can just mean death for your book. You know, if you don't want to spend any money, you can go to Canva and do it yourself. You can go to Fiverr and spend $5 or $10 or $15 or $20. You know, you could spend anywhere from $5 or $10 up to $5,000. There are covers, authors that do photo shoots for their covers and spend $2,000 or $3,000. Those are the authors that are selling, you know, 100 times that in books. So if you're spending $2,000 on a cover and you only sell $100 worth of books, you're in the hole. So what I recommend is finding a good cover designer in the genre that you want to be in. For example, if you're doing space opera, do some research and find out who is designing those covers. Again, the cost is going to range anywhere from a few hundred to a few thousand. You can also check out websites like 99 Designs and spend a few hundred there. But I got to tell you, if you got the money, investing the money in your cover, at least a few $100s, I think is important, because that is going to be a cover that you can be proud of and that people will click on. But again, if you're like most authors and you're on a budget or you have no money, check out Canva, Canva. Check out Fiverr, Fiverr, or 99 Designs, and see what you can come up with. But don't DIY it. Don't DIY it. You want to see some bad book covers? Check this out. You see what I mean? Do you think those book covers were professionally done, Randall? Probably not. So, hey, Randall, hopefully that was helpful. I appreciate the question. And you're going to get a digital copy of one of my books, either Angel of Mercy or Sins of the Father. If you have a question or comment that you would like me to address on the program, drop it in the comments below. And again, if I use your question or comment, like Randall's, I'm going to send you a copy of one of my digital copies of one of my books. All right? You're not going to get a real book with a back and all that. My goodness, I'm not made of money here. I got covers to pay for. So, hey, Randall, hope that was helpful. Don't forget, subscribe, click the notification button and the little thumbs up. Give us a like. And remember, I tend to ramble, but my whole goal here is really very honorable. I'm here to help you become a better writer. And hopefully done that a little bit today. By the way, if you're proud of your book cover, put a link below. Let folks take a look. Just be ready for the critiques to come. All right. See you next time, guys.